Yes, India obviously is doing quite, still very much in a critical situation. I think at the moment, India, the figures are rising. So they've had over 360 um, cases and over 360,000 cases, but that's only the figures that obviously we know about. What about all the figures that we don't know about? And the death toll has increased as well. So India is in a very critical situation. There's a lot of criticism in terms of the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, and the other politicians. There's also, as we discussed yesterday, they said that the elections were still going ahead, which obviously is a huge concern. And I think the rest of the world now is concerned because if India is having this difficult situation, this crisis in the pandemic, there's thousands of people dying, thousands of people getting infected. The numbers are increasing. Oxygen supply is still low, despite help from other countries like the UK, US, Australia, France, Germany, and all these other places, and Emirates Dubai that are giving aid. Despite all of that, India is still in a critical situation. We are hearing that people are dying, like one person is dying every few minutes. And I spoke to actually someone in India, someone that I know, and their relative passed away. The relative got ill on the 16th of April, and on the 24th, when he was rushed to hospital, he died on the 28th or 25th. So it was quite sad to speak to them, to find out exactly what happened. This person was in Delhi. He had gone for work to Delhi, and he had been there since February. He had been in the house most of the time, and he had only gone out a few times to go and eat. And it seems that he might have picked up the virus from going out. And not only was he infected and he passed away, but his family members that he's left behind are also infected. So the situation is, hearing that story yesterday was quite heartbreaking, because it's someone I knew that in Delhi. He was actually living in France, but then traveling to Delhi for work. And so this is just one scenario. So you can imagine if someone, other people in India, that's a very, very typical situation that by the time they realize they're unwell, they go to the hospitals and they end up dying. And some of them are not even making it to the hospitals. So it is really, really a very serious situation. It's still, obviously all eyes are on India from the rest of the world. And we're all praying for India that things will get better. But however, at the moment, things are really looking quite critical, I would say. Yeah, 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 yeah. So, and the figures, I mean, as we spoke, the articles that I read, they said that the figures obviously is that there's 400 people that are dying, but there's people that deal with dead bodies and the cremations and the undertakers. And they are saying that in the articles and the interviews that I'd seen live was that it's up to about 1,000 people dying in just one area. So we are just talking about Delhi, a big city, but we're not even touched the surface of all the other places like the other smaller cities and towns. As I said, even I know friends in the UK, their family members are in hospital in Delhi, or at home testing positive, and at home doctors that I teach as well, their family members, and they've also contracted COVID-19. So it's a serious situation. For me, it feels that, and what I've heard on the news is that almost every person is getting infected or knows someone that's getting infected, and they are bearing members of their family, unfortunately. And it's happening at such a rapid rate that people are not able to even grieve. So I think for me, the psychological consequences of this, or what we are seeing, we are just at the moment, India is just doing the firefighting. When you have a fire, and how you're going to put the fire out. And basically people are just fighting to breathe, fighting to get oxygen, fighting to get medication, fighting to get hospital supplies, fighting to get a hospital bed for their family members or themselves. We're not even touched the surface of how this grief is going to affect them, because they're not getting a chance to say goodbye to their loved ones. They're having to bury them and wait long hours. Some of them are being cremated in such extreme circumstances as being on, even on the road, they're being cremated. And yeah, yes, yeah, yeah, it is. Hmm. It is very heartbreaking. And as I said, I've been watching the news, and it's been really, the first thing I do usually is watch the news and looking at the videos and just keeping myself updated. But it is quite upsetting, as you said yesterday as well. It's quite emotional. And also, for me, knowing that my ancestors have come from there, I've got friends and family that are in India at the moment. And it is very upsetting. The rest of, and even here in the UK, we know a lot of people that have family and friends in the UK, from the UK in India. So lots of our friends, family, colleagues, and I'm sure you know as well, know someone that has family in India. And what we are hearing is that, as I said earlier, people are. It is really a critical situation. I mean, despite that, I mean, the rest of the world is trying to help India. I don't know what you feel. Arundhati Roy has said that it's like a harm against human. What's happening in India is against humanity. It's such a serious situation. And I was watching an interview of the professor of economics, Dr. Banerjee, in London, and she was saying that she was criticizing Narendra Modi and saying that he is directly responsible. I mean, obviously, we're not here to discuss politics, but there is a lot of criticism on the government. And the fact that Narendra Modi is using funds, billions of dollars, to campaign his own agenda and his own, celebrations in Delhi, a place where people are needing money for oxygen, they're needing vaccines, because the vaccines in India are not free. I'm not sure if you were aware of it. For vaccines in India, yes, so exactly. No, the vaccines in India, if you have to pay, if you have to get a vaccine, you have to pay for the vaccine, and it's not been made free. So maybe some places, I don't know how they're doing it, but the information that I've read is that people have to pay for vaccines. They're paying for oxygen on the black market, and it's becoming quite expensive because people are going to. I've heard a story of a gentleman that took his wife to the hospital. He had taken her to several different hospitals, and she ended up dying, and she was pregnant. So he spoke out, and he's spoken out about the situation, saying that he's had to pay money for tests, and even at the end they did not have a bed for her. So there's a lot of people are in the situation, from what I've read. They're going to hospitals, they're getting testing done, but even when they're getting testing, there's no guarantee that they are going to get a bed. And having previously been in India with my mom in the hospitals, I know the situation. We went to the private and the government, and you have to have money up front. So any person that does not have the finances, and you can imagine in this pandemic how the economy had suffered already. For some people, giving oxygen, that might be the last money that they've had, or some people might not even have the money for oxygen, but they are having to. I mean, I've seen videos, and you might have seen the videos of people traveling hours and waiting in queues from 3 o'clock in the morning to get to get oxygen, and filling the cylinders, which will only last a few hours, and then refilling the cylinders. There was some places, not even hospitals, just areas where people are getting together and trying to, so I would say the human, some really good Samaritans that are just, getting people and getting oxygen, getting them to receive oxygen either through drive through or through these places where they're monitoring them. So, there's so many of these sporadic sort of semi clinics in the open that are coming up, so people can help each other, because obviously there's no spaces in the hospital. I mean, India's a population of over 1.2, 1.4 billion, so you can just imagine the enormity of what's going on. And we've only just started. The numbers are going to increase before it gets better, unfortunately. And even though UK has sent ventilators, oxygen supplies, Biden has promised some technical support and support with making vaccines. Other countries have offered other sort of supplies. Even though all these supplies are going in, it's greatly appreciated according to India, but it's not going to be enough to help the population. So this is the situation, the reality of the situation, unfortunately. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, I totally agree. I agree that obviously the situation is quite bad at the moment. And yes, in terms of travel, it is definitely expensive. You have to have an X amount already set aside in order, as you just outlined, the testing, the cost of quarantine, hotels, and all the other expenditures that go with it. And definitely, I think maybe that's what the governments are actually aiming. I think obviously these restrictions and these rules that are enforced in terms of travel and the expenses and having testing done and having your negative test before you travel, or having the NHS app that will come into place, NHS passport, in terms of whether you've had your vaccine to travel. So all these things will have been enforced, and these are things that obviously later on we are going to see more and more implementation and refining of the exact rules and regulations. So it is going to be something, a norm for all of us, where we're going to have to actually unfortunately go through the process which you've just outlined. But having said that, coming back to obviously what your friend is saying, it's true, because you have to have all these funds before you can even think about traveling. And I think so, on the one hand, the reason to have this implementation of these rules and regulations is obviously to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and to reduce the risk of people either traveling to countries at a high risk, or bringing it back into their countries where they've traveled from. So that's why we obviously have like the traffic light system of the red, amber, and the green list of countries, which obviously India is now the red list. But the second thing is obviously, by making it so expensive and so much that you have to actually have a surplus in addition to going on your trip, whether it's business or whether it's for leisure, it's obviously going to deter people. Like your friend said, you're only going to go. Yes. No. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. So you're right. I agree with you. Yeah. No, I do agree with you that the government. Yeah. Oh dear. I didn't realize the time is gone. Sorry. I actually did not see that, Apoku, at all. I did not see that, in terms of the time, because the time is just gone. I was just just sorting out the technical issues. My apologies for today. But now that we've got it sorted out, it should be okay for next time. So yes, it's already 7:30, and the coronavirus figures, as of the Worldometer on April 30th, today, 2021, as we still continue in the pandemic, is 151,159,899 cases. The number of deaths are 3,179,925, and the total recovered are 128,571. Sorry, 128,571,189 recovered. Yeah, and there was just over 3 million deaths. So definitely the numbers are increasing, and India is contributing to a lot of that. USA is number one with 33,044,068 positive cases, with 589,207 deaths. In India is number two with 18,762,976 positive cases, and the numbers rise with 208,330 deaths. And we know that that's not the accurate figure according to the informants from India. Brazil is number three with 14,592,886 positive cases, with 401,417 deaths. France number four with 5,592,390 positive cases, with 104,224. Russia number five with 4,796,557 positive cases, with 109,731 deaths. And UK is number seven with 4,114,242 positive cases, with 127,502 deaths. South Africa number 20 with 1,579,536 positive cases, with 54,331 deaths. And we have Ghana, which is definitely still quite low on the list, with number 93 with 92,562 positive cases, with 779 deaths. So Ghana's still done extremely well, so hats off to Ghana. And the other countries that have done so well. In terms of the UK 24-hour figures, it's 22 new deaths, and that was one of the headlines today with 2,445 new cases. So we're definitely seeing the numbers go down. Thank you so much, Apoku. Have a fantastic weekend, and let's everyone just stay safe and let's spread the love and not the virus. And wherever you are, just stay safe. And we're praying for India and the rest of the world. Have a fantastic weekend. Yes. Bye. Thank you so much. Love to everyone. Bye.